Are you tired of feeling like you're living paycheck to paycheck due to your obligations with debt? Sometimes it may even feel like your bank account is just a rest stop for your money on the way to the hands of Sally Mae and her homies, Chase, American Express, Discover, and MasterCard. And we absolutely, positively cannot forget about our online shopping BFFs, Affirm, Klarna, and Afterpay. From what I hear, they have a lot of people in a good old WWE headlock. With 77% of Americans having some type of debt and millennials having an average non-mortgage debt of $30,000, it's pretty clear that there's an issue that needs to be addressed. And you know what they say, if you want to experience change, you have to make a change. That's why in today's video, we're going to discuss 6 steps for you to be able to start your debt-free journey right now.
You have reached your financial destination.
What's up, people? Rod Reedy here with Financial Destination. And on this channel, we talk about all things financial literacy to help you create a navigation system for your money. This system will help you go from lost to found on your financial journey. That way, you can pay off debt quicker, start investing for your future, and actually enjoying life with your family. Let's get things going with today's video. So as we stated, we are talking about how to begin your debt-free journey. And to go through that discussion, we're going to talk about how we can do that in 6 steps. I consider this 6 steps that you can apply to really accomplish any financial goal. But today we're talking about going on our debt-free journey. So just as an overview of the 6 steps to get started on our debt-free journey and to eventually reach the status of being debt-free, we want to discuss desire and mindset first. And I always mention those two together because they handle the mental approach of this process. So when we're talking about desire, that's a psychological, that's a mental process. When we're talking about mindset, it has mind in the word. It's clear that that is a psychological and a mental part of the process. So we have to tackle those 2 things first before we can go along the other 4 steps that we have here. So it goes desire, mindset, current location, route creation, navigation, and then financial destination. That's the goal. So just some additional explanation about what these steps are. You go from desire to mindset to current location. So current location is you sitting down and really having a moment of reflection about where are you with your debt? Do you have stuff in collections? Do you have a new debt account that was just opened and the payments are about to be due? Do you have your interest rates going up soon? Do you have a variable interest rate? Do you have a standard interest rate that doesn't change? And I forget the word for it. You got variable and then you have fixed. That's what it is. Is it variable or is it fixed? You want to go down this whole list of questions regarding where you stand currently with your debt. So that handles the current location part. Next, we go to route creation. So route creation is essentially you creating your plan and your route on how you want to eliminate your debt. And you can take it a step at a time. We can talk about each card. You can talk about each account one at a time to decrease the stress and the anxiety associated with the journey that you're about to go on. So you want to create a plan so that you can have something to go back to if you get off track and just kind of help you know where you're headed. I always think about our financial journey like a road trip. And when you create your route, you have something in hand that can tell you, okay, I'm going 2 miles up the road. I'm gonna turn left here. I'm gonna go 10 more miles, merge on the highway, get off. It gives you your system. It gives you your steps for where you're headed. And that's what the navigation part is all about. Like, think about your phone and you're trying to get somewhere. You can put the stuff in the phone and and allow it to tell you, or to populate the steps to tell you where you need to go. But the navigation part is the process of you actually following the route that was created. A lot of times you have drivers that you get the map in your hand, or you get the app to tell you where you're headed, and you're like, oh man, I can beat this, or I know a better way. And then next thing you know, you're lost, or it took you longer to get there than the original plan that you created was telling you that you would get there. So you want to create your route on the route creation step, and then you want to actually follow that route on the navigation step. And then ideally, if you follow the process of navigation, you will get to your financial destination. You will get to whatever that goal is regarding whatever debt account you are focusing on at the time. And ultimately, you will get to that financial destination for all of your debt. So just to recap, you got desire, mindset, current location, route creation, navigation, financial destination. All right. So as I discussed with you guys before, we want to tackle the topics of desire and mindset first. And I'm really about to get to talking here, so bear with me. When I started thinking about both of these, it took me on a journey of thinking about how we praise and really look towards tangible assets and tangible things before we address the intangible skills and flaws that we need to develop. And when I talk about that, I mean, it's really the fact that people prioritize the acquisition of tangible possessions because we can see and we can feel them. When you talk about money, you talk about cars, you talk about houses, you talk about shoes and clothes and jewelry, you can see and you can feel those things. But when it comes to the intangible assets or the intangible skill sets that we need to acquire those tangible things, such as knowledge, habit building, mindset shift, and your faith, those are intangible assets that everybody should be trying to accumulate and develop to maximize you obtaining the tangible things. When you develop the intangible mindset, faith, knowledge, and habit building, when you develop those things, you become wiser when it comes time to acquire all of these different possessions that really at the end of the day don't even mean anything. So we want to tackle the intangible before we get to the tangible. And that took me down to desire. So when it came to the desire part of this process, it took me to studying the word and understanding ignorance. And you guys will hear me say a few things that I stick to. You may hear me say those things over and over again as you stick around and watch the videos and hear me talk. But there are two types of ignorance. So you have unconscious ignorance and you have selective ignorance. Unconscious ignorance is, for example, when you grow up just not being taught something and you just don't know it. You have no idea what a credit card variable rate is. You have no idea what the difference between a 15-year mortgage versus a 30-year mortgage. You have no idea what it means to get and obtain and maintain a good credit score. That's unconscious ignorance. And yes, we can remove that by learning, but just by default, we weren't taught these things growing up, depending on your household. I wasn't taught it. So you have unconscious ignorance and then you have selective ignorance. Selective ignorance is when you know that there's a way for you to find out about something to improve your situation or to improve your knowledge about a particular topic, but you choose to selectively ignore whatever that opportunity is. You know that you can increase your credit. You know that you can increase your savings account balance. But because you're so comfortable and nervous and anxious about the change that you need to make to improve in those areas, you choose to say, man, I think I'm good. I'll stay where I am. That's what you call selective ignorance. And my goal is to remove the unconscious ignorance part. I'm here to help teach and coach and help people understand what some of these topics are about. So it's my goal to remove any unconscious ignorance about that topic. So by the time you get done with this video, by the time you leave from here, you're going to be either avoiding or using selective ignorance. My goal is to help you avoid selective ignorance and to teach and help you get to a better place. Now, when we get to the mindset of things, once we have our desire to change established, we have to have a desire to change. And then next, we have to get our mindset updated and transformed in order to obtain and acquire that new desire. So after we get our mindset changed, we have to align our mindset with faith and the faith necessary to be successful in the pursuit of this new thing. And this new thing for us today is actually trying and attempting to become debt free. And for a lot of us, that includes consumer debt. That includes credit cards, department store accounts, personal loans. Lord forbid you end up with a payday loan or one of these check cash places that give you a 50% interest rate. We're trying to change our mindset and really grasp the fact that we can get rid of that stuff. We have to change our habits. We have to change our mindset to be sure and faithful about the fact that we can get from up under this rock that we call debt. A lot of times when we talk about debt and we talk about money, your anxiety and your pessimism and your doubt can block your ability to create financial goals, to create money goals. Your anxiety and your stress can be the only thing that you may end up worrying about. Like, for instance, if I have a conversation with somebody about, hey, what are some of your goals around money? A lot of times, most people, all they can say is, man, I just want to be less stressed. I want to experience less anxiety when it comes to trying to get out of debt and having conversations about getting out of debt. So we have to change our mindset and try to find some optimism, some positivity, and some actual habit changing and some building our faith around the fact that we can make a change in this area. So that tackles the psychology part of money regarding this 6-step process that I have here. So next we're going to go to something that I talk about all the time. You'll always see this, the 4 lanes of money management. So the 4 lanes of money management is an illustration of the components of a budget, or in my case, a money roadmap. These are the 4 components here: your income, your expenses, your debt, and your margin. And I have margin circled for a reason. And you guys already know this if you've seen some of my other videos. But if you don't know, you will find out, and you will know at some point that margin is the key to debt elimination and investing and any other financial goal, vacations, whatever. Your margin is the key. So I had that noted there just for a point, because we're going to wrap back around to that. But first, I want to talk about your debt awareness. So this is an exercise for you. I just straight up say that this is considered some homework for you. I want you to become more aware of your debt. And this will take some courage. This will take some looking yourself in the mirror and saying, hey, we got to get this under control. This will take a hard conversation with your partner or whatever. Like, you got to face it at the end of the day. Debt is scary, especially if you have student loan debt that is astronomical in the 6 figures. I just want you to become aware. Now, I know it can be hard to get rid of some of this stuff, but at least you know what you have. At least you know if your minimum payment on your student loan is covering the interest and the principal. There are so many people that are paying student loan payments, and the minimum payment isn't doing anything with the interest, which results in the loan increasing or staying the same. So the goal is to be aware. Yes, it may be ugly. You see the man. Look at the man on there. I don't know. I don't think I can show you guys my mouse, but y'all see the man. Look at him. He got his hand in his head in his hand. He got a negative $1 million situation here. I understand. It can make you sad. It can make you mad. And it can make you so mad and sad that you just ignore it, to be frank. You let the stack of envelopes fill up from the mail, or you see American Express and you throw it in the trash can. I mean, I understand why you would feel like you needed to throw it away or ignore it because it's just too much. But I need you to take some action, even if it's one debt account a week over the next 2 months, whatever. I need you to take some time and take some action and become aware of your debt situation. And to do this, I'm telling you what you need to do so it makes it easy, but I need you to do this. There are 6 for me in what I have laid out. There are 6 fundamental debt components that you need to become familiar with. And if you stick around to the end of this video, you're going to see an exercise that we discuss and that we do together for you to become aware of how you need to approach the elimination of your debt. But to do that exercise, you need to have these 6 components handy for you to do the homework and to do the exercise on your own after we do an example. You need to know the account name. You need to know the account balance. You need to know the account credit limit. And from these last 2, the balance and the credit limit, it will give you the 4th component, which is your utilization. Your credit utilization is 30% of your credit score. That's why when people max out their cards, that's why when people get close to maxing out their card and they have these high balances on their accounts, they have low credit scores. It's because 30% of your credit score is your utilization. You have to have a utilization percentage of 30% or lower to start helping your credit score increase. So that's why this is a big part of your debt awareness and a big component of debt awareness. So account name, balance, credit limit, utilization percentage, your minimum payment, and your interest rate. You need to know all of these to become fully aware of what your debt is. And you'll see why at the end of this video once we get to the exercise that we're going to do. All right. So next I want to talk about the most notable debt repayment strategies. The first strategy that everybody knows and hears about, and I don't know where it originated from, but a lot of people know about it from Dave Ramsey, the debt snowball. The debt snowball is when you take your lowest account balance and you pay it off first. Well, whatever that minimum payment was, now that you have that account paid off, you roll that minimum payment into your next smallest account. So now you have your second smallest account, the minimum payment that's associated with it, plus the minimum of payment, plus the minimum of payment. Did I say that wrong again? Plus the minimum payment from the first account. And now you're attacking that second smallest account. And so on. So you go from smallest account to largest account while taking the minimum payment for each one and just building that debt payment snowball. And as you get to the larger balance or the larger account, the snowball is so big at that point that it smashes that larger account quicker than it would have if you were just like, okay, I'm gonna put a little here, I'm gonna put a little there, I'm gonna put a little here, a little there. The debt snowball is focused on small wins. It is focused on motivating you to continue the process. If I pay off a $500 card, oh man, it felt amazing. Then I go to a $2,000 card. May take longer, but it's not as big as my largest account. So I get that one done. Yes, I got to keep going. By the time you get to the account that say 15,000 or 10,000, which may be like the rest of a car or something like that, by the time you get to it, you've had different checkpoints of motivation and different checkpoints of gratification and gratitude regarding the process. And you really feel like you can do it. And you take that encouragement along the journey. That's what the debt snowball is all about. The next one is the debt avalanche. The debt avalanche is the strategy that is associated with the interest rates on your debt accounts. With the debt avalanche, you start with the highest interest rate and you go down to the lowest interest rate. And this one is associated with the math side of things. When you take care of the one with the highest interest rate, it allows you to decrease the overall amount of interest that you end up paying for all of your debt accounts. So a lot of people like to use that one when it's math related. I would say use that one when your balances are very similar. If you have a high balance, like a $10,000 balance, and it has an interest rate of like 20%, that can be discouraging to have to do a $20,000 account first, having to pay that one down first just for the sake of math. I think that can be very discouraging for a lot of people. But if the numbers work for some folks, that's the part that gets them. It's like, man, I want to do the one that makes the most sense on the number side of things. And then lastly, I want to talk about how I need to go get some water. So yeah, hold on. Now, this last one I want to talk about is the utilization elimination strategy. This is one that I found out about later on when I started digging into credit and understanding how your utilization percentage was 30% of your credit score. I ran across this strategy. So this strategy is all about which account has the highest utilization percentage or the highest utilization rate. And as I stated earlier, when it comes to your utilization rate, all you're doing is dividing the amount of money you've used on your credit card, and you divide that by the credit limit, and that gives you a percentage of some sort. So just for easy numbers, if I have a credit card with a $1,000 limit and I use $100 of that credit card, that is a 10% utilization rate. If I use $900 of a $1,000 limit card, that is a 90% utilization rate. And that is a no bueno, my guy, my lady. That is no good. So when it comes to this strategy, you want to tackle the one with the highest utilization rate, because the approach and the main focus on this one is helping increase your credit score the fastest. So when you get your credit cards down, like say you have multiple cards, I would say with this one, I would get all of my cards down to 30% as quick as possible, and then jump back over and select the debt snowball or the debt avalanche strategy to use. So the utilization elimination strategy is all about increasing your credit score. And once you get all of them down, I'm just repeating myself just for clarity. Once you get all of your cards or accounts down to 30%, then you can jump to the debt snowball or debt avalanche, because once they're at 30%, you're in a better spot regarding your credit score increasing. All right. So earlier, let me go back here. I just want to talk about an honorable mention regarding the repayment strategies. And I don't talk about this one a lot because if you're in a situation where you have a lot of debt or haven't changed your habits, this fourth strategy won't make sense, because you can get yourself in worse trouble or in a worse situation. So the honorable mention I want to talk about is debt consolidation or a balance transfer, or using those introductory rates that they offer, like you have 0% for 9 months or 0% for 12 months. Those are amazing if you pay the card off in the time that you have been given for the introductory rate. When you just move the money, for the sake of, oh, this one got a 0% interest rate, and then you don't pay it off, the entire balance of what you have left is going to get smacked with that higher interest rate after the introductory rate is over. And a lot of times with those introductory rates, they're like 0%. And then after it's done, it goes up to like 28%, 25%, just crazy. So whatever you don't have paid off at the end of that introductory period gets smacked with that 28% interest rate. And you don't want those problems, I promise you. And I think I need to look into the nuts and bolts of the details, but I think if you don't have it paid off, the original transfer gets hit with interest as well as what you have left over. It's something crazy like that. But if you haven't addressed the psychology part of money, the desire and the mindset part enough to make a change, then you don't want to be dealing with a debt consolidation if you aren't going to pay it off during the introductory period. If you're serious and you're like putting your heels in the ground and just trying to get after it, then yes, utilize that, because it'll save you a lot of money, especially if you have like a 30% interest rate, or if you have like a 20% and higher interest rate going down to a 0%. That is going to save you a lot of money. So take advantage of that if you're going to be responsible about it. All right, next. Earlier back, I was talking about the 4 lanes of money management, and we talked about how margin was so important. And what you guys will hear me refer to margin as, some people call it cash flow, but just for relating it to a budget and a money roadmap, I call it a budget's dream. And that's because it is an indication that you have the opportunity to make a difference regarding your debt elimination, investing in travel, and additional fun. Like having money left over, having margin is a game changer. And that's all that is your income minus your expenses. That's your margin. It's discretionary money that you have left over after taking care of your expenses. So to understand what your margin is, you have to budget and you have to track your money. You can't, if you can't manage what you're not tracking. You can't control what you're not tracking. If you aren't in control, it'll be hard to reach your financial goals. That's how I look at it. So these are some usual and popular budgeting tools that are out there right now. You got Every Dollar, you got Monarch Money, you have YNAB, you need a budget. You have a good old Excel spreadsheet, which is what I use. And while I'm here, just a little plug. If you look down in the description of the video, it gives you access to my free money roadmap that has many pre-calculated formulas for you. It has over 80 lines of expense entries that you can put in. It has nearly 200 available lines for you to put in your expenses and your income for tracking purposes to compare to the planned side of the money map for you to use. So, and I also have a video with instructions on how to set yours up for your particular situation. But yeah, check out the video description for the link to get access to that free money roadmap. And then also you can check out my latest video that discusses setting up your money roadmap. So you got an Excel spreadsheet. And then also a lot of people aren't aware that your banks have budgeting tools inside of them. So one of my recent clients, we were talking about they bank with Wells Fargo and they weren't aware that Wells Fargo has a budgeting tool. It takes your expenses, it automatically categorizes them according to the vendor or the place you were shopping at. So if you go to Publix, it'll automatically categorize that as groceries. If you go to Chick-fil-A, it'll automatically categorize that as fast food or eating out at restaurants or whatever. And all you got to do is just go in there and verify your categories to make sure that what you had on your plan is matching what Wells Fargo is saying that expense goes to regarding the category. And that really helps you out with tracking what you're spending. And if you track what you spend, then you'll be able to maximize your margin. I don't know if this is a word, but I love talking about margin maximization. Margin maximization is key when it comes to trying to figure out how you can get out of debt quicker and how you can positively impact your investment contributions. All right, so I just talked about this. I talked about my free money roadmap and all the features it has. It has 2 trackers for expenses and income. You have 2 graphs that show you your percentage of spending regarding the different categories of spending. And then there's a planned versus actual graph as well. That's there. And there's the barcode actually. If you want to get your camera out and get a picture of that barcode, it'll take you directly to the website to get access to that free money roadmap. And just an overview of that roadmap, you have a summary portion, you have money goals, you have the roadmap portion, the trackers, and then the graphs. It has some pretty cool things to offer on it. I think so. Yes, I made it. I may be a little biased, but I think it really gets you equipped and aware. We talked about becoming debt aware. It helps you in that effort. So having a budget or money roadmap set up, it gets you aware of your margin. And with that margin, we can go and attack our debt. And that's the first step. The first step, we talked about the 6-step process, which is desire, mindset, current location, route creation, navigation, and then reaching your financial destination. As far as action steps are concerned, the first thing you need to do is we're going to do the debt payment, the debt awareness exercise, and get your debts laid out with those 6 components we talked about. And then after that, we need to get a budget set up so you can determine if you have margin available to start paying extra towards your debt. So this is just an example that we're going to use here. So say your income on a monthly basis for you and your partner or yourself or whatever is $8,525. Your expenses are $7,000. That means you have a margin of $1,525. So now keep that number in mind, because now we're about to get to the exercise that I talked about earlier in the video. In this exercise, I'm going to ask you 3 scenarios. In those 3 scenarios, I want you to, some people will see the answers already, but put it in the chat or in the comments. Put in the chat or the comments which debt repayment strategy we are going to apply this $1,525 to. Which account we'll apply that to according to the debt repayment strategy that I described during the exercise. So we got $1,525, and now we're going to go to the exercise. All right. So I'm going to make myself smaller here. There we go. All right. So in this particular situation, we have $1,525 that we need to apply to one of these accounts based on the debt repayment strategy that I described. All right. And I'm going to give you 10 seconds after I describe it to put your answers in the chat or in the comments at that particular point in the video. All right. So the first debt repayment strategy that we are going to apply that we're going to evaluate to apply our margin of $1,525 to is the debt snowball strategy. So these debt accounts, you have a personal loan, that's number 1. You have a Neiman Marcus account, that's number 2. And you have an American Express, that's number 3. In the chat or in the comments, what order would you apply the margin to if we're talking about the debt snowball? 1, 2, and 3, those are your accounts. Put them in order according to the debt snowball. Put debt snowball and then put the order of the numbers that you would apply the margin to. 10 seconds. And of course, it'll depend on who's watching it live. But even if you watch the replay or the non-live version of it, yeah, put it in the comments. I would like to see what you put. All right, so the order for that is 3, 2, and 1 for the debt snowball. So we went from smallest balance to largest balance. That's how we're going to apply that extra money. All right, the second one is the debt avalanche. If we're considering the debt avalanche, that means we're going from highest interest rate to lowest interest rate. In that case, what is the order that you would apply the $1,525 of margin from our budget? So put debt avalanche and then put the order that you would apply the money in. All right. On that one, that would be 2, 3, and then 1 for the debt avalanche. It would be the Neiman Marcus account, the American Express account, and then the personal loan account. Because you have a 22% interest, 22.5, a 17.25, and then an 8% interest rate. All right. And then lastly, we have the utilization elimination debt repayment strategy, which is all about the utilization rate, which is associated mostly with your credit score. So when we're talking about that one, I want you to type in the chat or in the comments at this point in the video, what order would you apply the margin regarding the utilization elimination strategy? Show me what you got. What you got? All right. So for that one, we'll go 2, 1, 3 for the utilization elimination. All right. So, man, that is the video that I wanted to provide to you guys for this week around starting your debt-free journey. And just to summarize, I want to talk about, we talked about the 6-step process that you can go on really to accomplish any financial goal. So you have the desire part. So first of all, you have to establish a desire. Like, do I want to change? Do I want to get out of debt? Do I want to work on building my wealth by taking my money back from my lenders? That is a reverse engineered way of thinking about your wealth building. By taking your money back from your lenders and eliminating the requirement to pay these high interest rates, you're actually involving yourself in an opportunity to increase your wealth by taking your money back from people that are charging you to borrow money. So the desire to change has to be there. After we have a desire, we address our mindset. Now we have to get some faith going. We got to get some optimism going. We got to get some encouragement going about the fact that, yes, I can eliminate all of these debt accounts. I can eliminate these high interest situations that I have myself in, that I either had to get or I unknowingly ended up in because of, maybe I was raised a certain way and I wasn't taught that this stuff will get me in trouble. So desire, then mindset. Then we talk about, okay, now that we know we're going to chase it, we're going to go after that thing. We want to talk about, where are we currently, our current location? Where are we currently on our debt journey? We got to establish if we have old accounts, do we have collections? What are our interest rates? And that takes us to the whole part about debt awareness. And we had the 6 components of debt awareness, where we talked about knowing what our account name is, our account balance, the credit limit, the utilization percentage, your minimum payment, and I counted wrong, and then your interest rate. So the current location part of the exercise is all about debt awareness. And don't forget your homework. You got some homework to do now. Get your chart set up. Use Excel, use Google Sheets, write it on paper, write in a blank piece of paper, in a notebook, whatever. You got some homework to do. Get some awareness around where you are with your debt. So after we become aware, we need to create a route. We're at the route creation phase. We need to create a route to get us to where we are eliminating these accounts. So desire, mindset, current location, route creation. Yes, make the plan, make the route, get all your turns and your stops, your checkpoints, get all of that stuff set up. But you have to follow it. You have to execute the navigation part of the process. Yes, you can create the route. Yes, we can execute the route creation part of the 6-step process, but you have to also complete the navigation part of the process, which will actually take you from point A to point B on your debt-free journey to get you to step 6, which is the financial destination. You heard the intro to my video. You have reached your financial destination. I was so turned up about finding that, about making that. But yeah, man, like you want to follow that process to get you to whatever your financial goal is. And that's all the financial destination is. What is your financial goal around debt elimination and debt freedom? We got to get there. We got to get there. All right. We also talked about debt repayment strategies. You got the snowball, you got the avalanche, and then you have utilization elimination. And then an honorable mention was debt consolidation via a balance transfer to a card with an introductory rate. That is 4 ways that you can approach eliminating your debt. But to expedite the elimination of your debt, you have to have margin. And to do that, we either need to be increasing our income and or decreasing our expenses to give us money left over to apply to these debt accounts to get this out of the way, y'all. Like, we got to make some sacrifices and some compromises to get this debt out of our lives, to remove anxiety and stress, and just to make opportunities more plentiful around investing, vacations, preparing for our children's future, being able to buy them a car with cash when they turn 16 and not having to go get a car loan. Or, man, really when it get down to the nitty gritty, I'm 34 years old. A lot of people around me either have young children or just are having kids. And we have the opportunity to change the trajectory of our families and change the trajectory of our the lives of our children by starting to prepare early. You can't prepare anything for them if you don't have yourself situated. And I talked about that in my video about the optimal order of investing. Check my videos out. It just takes you through the step-by-step order of where you should apply and utilize your next dollar. If you don't have any extra dollars left over to apply anywhere, you won't be able to set your kids up or improve your situation. So we got to have margin. And like I said, the way to have margin is to decrease your spending, increase your income, or a combination of both. That's how we get money left over that we can apply to our debts to get us in a better situation, y'all. So if I have any questions, hit me in the comments, hit me in the chat, DM me anytime you have a question about anything, but especially this right here. That covers today's video. If you have a desire to make a difference and you need some help doing so, you can reach out to me via my website. You can also reach out to me via my Calendly link to do a free consultation so that I can kind of help you realize what you need help with and then provide you with a step-by-step process to do so. If you really got something from this video today, help me out. Come on, man. You see I got about 35 subscribers. Help a brother out. Hit that subscribe button. Like the video if you got some value from it, and hit the notification bell if you want to continue to keep me included on your financial journey to help you just get your life in a better situation when it comes to your money. So that's the video for this week, y'all. I see you on the next one. Peace out.